Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Cape Town Sevens. This one, Kenya versus Argentina. Two sides that certainly know how to play an entertaining brand of rugby. And in this match, it is a playoff for 5th place. So whoever wins this game, this is one of the two semi-finals. They will then face the winner of New Zealand versus Great Britain. But looking through at the starting lineups for the Kenyans, it is Kevin Wakesa, managed to score himself a try in the first match up against the Australians, which of course Kenya went on to win, which was a great victory indeed. Samuel Azati, the captain, is once again in the side. Amaitsa Abukusi, Anthony Mbuya actually makes his way into the starting side for this match, so a little bit of a change there compared to that first initial lineup. George Oro Angeo and then Patrick Odonga Okongo, who is definitely one to watch out for in this match. In terms of the starting lineup for Argentina, they've actually made a few changes here compared to what we are used to seeing, and that could be one for a little bit of squad rotation, but also two because the big one is gone. They are not in the semi-finals, so maybe taking Kenya a little bit lightly here with the selection they have gone with. They have got Agustin Fraha, Luciano Gonzalez, Santiago Sangara, Mateo Graziano, Matthias Azatsuk, Santiago Alvarez, and Fukando Pieridon, the last man in the side. So no Marcos Maneta in the starting lineup, no Jermaine Schultz, no Jacques Juan Palladino, no Santiago Verafeld, and then Tobias Wade, another man that they haven't got in that starting side. Go Kenya, says Roy, at least the Perth Sevens will be at a more normal time for us in New Zealand, especially the finals. Says Novmum, that is true. There's some brutal hours that are going into these sevens. Definitely the Cape Town as well as Dubai. I mean, the finals taking place at anywhere between 4 and 6 a.m. So for this one, I think it's 6:11 a.m. for Cape Town. Well, we are just seeing the USA getting themselves the win over the Uruguayans. This match not too far away at all. Only the 5 minutes, but do let me know your score predictions for this match, ladies and gents. Kenya are one of those sides that, when they play well, they can beat any side on the circuit. Last week, they proved it by beating South Africa as well as Ireland. This week, they've already pulled off the win up against the Australians, but the disappointing game, unfortunately for Kenya, was up against Spain. They were defeated 14 points to 7, and that took their chances away from the semi-finals with the shortened format, and you only have 2 matches in your warm-up. So for all the sides in the semi-finals, they are already halfway to a Sevens title. So these sides, job is not done. They can still have 2 more matches, and Kenya could finish 5th, which would be absolutely massive for them. But the more likely scenario from this game, in terms of the favourites, it seems like Argentina come in as the clear winner. But Kenya are one of those sides that when they play well, they can completely change that. Too early for the gin and orange juice, Ruth, says Sean there, and 20 points to 15 in favour of the Pumas, says Ruth. See, I'd like to see it be that close. I feel like Kenya, as long as they aren't blown out of the water early by this Argentine side, maybe Argentina have a couple errors and Kenya start to really get that counter-attack going, we could see this one go down to the wire. And I feel like it would be pretty awesome, seeing as we haven't seen these two sides face off yet in this new circuit. Kenya recently getting themselves promoted back onto the 7th circuit rather than the Challenger Series. We have got there, hello, Sean, gin and orange anytime, says Ruth there, and actually on my 3rd strong coffee, says Ruth. We're only at 11 a.m. or somewhere around there in South Africa, so a big day ahead, I think, for yourself, Ruth. Hi, all, and Hamish, says Robert V. Welcome in, Rob. You have been keeping well. We've got about 3 seconds remaining in the Uruguay versus USA game. So with that being said, USA will make their way through to the playoff game for 9th. But yeah, we've already seen a couple interesting results so far today, which is great news because that means that the 7th circuit once again is going to remain completely unpredictable, which is why this game, honestly, like, I feel stylistically it has the opportunity of being one of the best matches that we see. And in Cape Town, what about Fiji? Fiji will be playing in their semi-final a little bit later on today. That is happening at 1:18 a.m. New Zealand time, and they're going head-to-head with France. So not too far away from that match, about 3 hours, and we will be doing the commentary on the channel for that contest as well. The other semi-final taking place just beforehand, and that is the one between Spain and South Africa. So 2 times in a row, we have seen the Spanish make it to the semi-finals. And the question is, will it be a rematch of what we saw last week for the final in Dubai, which was Spain versus Fiji, or will we see a little bit of a switch. So just looking there, Uruguay versus USA has gone the way of the US. Australia versus Ireland for the other 9th place semi-final has gone the way of Australia. So for the 11th place playoff, it will be Ireland versus Uruguay, and the 9th place playoff, Australia versus USA. And g'day Hamish and fans, says Neville. Welcome in, mate. In Cape Town, perfect weather today, hot sun with a cool breeze, says Ruth. And yeah, the fact that these sides only have 2 matches that they have to play today is definitely going to be a welcome change for some of these athletes. We've just seen there the last 5 times that these 2 sides have played each other. They have all gone the way of Argentina. Some quite one-sided, couple a little bit closer. Hopefully this one will be a bit closer in that regard. But Alvarez, the captain for Argentina, is one of the better players I think that we've seen in terms of being able to use that strength to his advantage, and that is something that Kenya absolutely love to do. Just bulldoze their way forward. Kevin Wakesa, he is the perfect example of that. I am loving the new drive in the Kenyan team. We fight hard. All the best to Kenya, and good job for us who can't follow the match because of work, says Stafford. So hopefully work is going well for yourself. But yeah, Kenya have always been a pleasure to watch. I was utterly disappointed when they got demoted from the 7th circuit, just because anytime Kenya are in a match, even if they're not winning, when they score a try, no matter where they are in the world, the crowd just erupt. They absolutely love watching this team in action because you can see the passion and the way that the players love to play sevens. And I mean, some of the top sides do not have that. So I feel like Kenya definitely a unique team that you definitely don't want to miss any of their games when they are playing. Will you stream the Blitzbox? We certainly will. So their game is taking place up against Spain in about 2 hours, 40 minutes or so. And we will be doing that one on the channel as well. But Nick Hogan will be the referee in charge of this one. Argentina, they will be kicking off from right to left for these 2 sides. First match of the day. No matter what, they still have another one just around the corner. But the question is who will be playing for what place. USA and Kenya both have a wide performance gap between Union and Sevens, says Katsanel. It's going to be kicked off long by Argentina. Now, Akabusi has got it 5 metres out from the Kenyan line. Not a lot of space to work with right at the back of the field to start off for the Kenyans, but they will try and drive their way out, given Wakesa with a big, heavy carry. Luciano Gonzalez trying to drag down George Oro. One of the harder players for Kenya to get down on the turf. Kevin Wakesa, more metres being made by Kenya. They move up to 15 metres out from their own line. And this is just a very patient attack at the moment from Kenya. George Oro wrestled down again. Going short side now. Space opening up for Kenya. They've used a lot of kicks throughout the day. Odongo Okongo isn't going to need one because he's got too much pace. And he beats the Pumas defence and scores the opening try of the match here for the Kenyans. The Patrick Odongo Okongo, 5th try on the 7th circuit this year. Cape Town, he's already had 2 now. And just saw the gap round the side of the breakdown, and that was all he needed. The pace was far too much for this Kenyan defence, for this Argentine defence. And it says Duke, bro, the score already. And Pumas seem to have fallen flat, says Ruth in there as well. Yeah, they are very up and down this year, Los Pumas, but that can also be down to the fact that this is such a short competition. The game up against South Africa certainly wasn't the Argentina that we've seen in the past. But the kick has gone over, so 7-0 is going to be the score in favour of the Kenyans. Now going back across to the left-hand side. Nice attack and run forward from Luciano Gonzalez. Sets them up 35 metres from their own line. Yeah, Argentina, and it's a knock-on loose ball. Kenya, though, it was a drop ball, and they'll go back. Tell you what, it was almost a run and try for Kevin Wakesa. It's a minute ahead, says Duke. That is because it's an online scoreboard. So sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's slow. Today it's decided to be quick, which is quite good news. Sometimes it takes a long time to update, but that was the mistake coming from the Argentines again. But then just a juggle with the ball from Kevin Wakesa. How's my Kenya and Aussies doing? Aussie are playing off for 9th place up against USA. Kenya in this one are playing off for a chance to play off for 5th. So if they win this game, they will play off for the 5th. And then if they lose this game, they'll play off for 7th. I'm adjusting my scenery. My score, I think that is from Aruf, Kenya 25-20. Okay, so going for the underdog story here. I'm not too sure what the odds were coming into this match, but I assume Kenya did come in as quite heavy underdogs. Now, Kenya managed to get the steal and the breakdown. Argentina going for the counter ruck, and they managed to get the ball back. Good power shown by the Pumas forwards. Now going back across to the right-hand side, Agustin Fraha. In fact, no, it's Luciano Gonzalez. Gets the step, breaks through one challenge. Eventually dragged down by Amaitsa. Protecting the ball well here, Argentina. Now looking to go to the short side. Agustin Fraha this time running a little bit too high, and Kenya look to tie him up. And they have done just that. He manages to get his knee down now. And now short ball. Looks like Kenya are actually playing with 6. Someone down in back play. Hopefully he will be all right. Another knock on coming from Argentina. And Kenya again will have wide open space. It's going to be a foot race. There are 2 players down. One for Argentina, one for Kenya. So it's 6 on 6. And Kevin Wakesa will run in the try. The second of the match for the Kenyans. I heard that France smashed New Zealand. They certainly did. Kenya have the edge, hungry. Kenyan pressure says, was there from Roof, and the crowd are absolutely loving it, having a dance in the stands. But at the moment, like you said, they're just a hungrier side. They have that almost point that they want to prove that they should have been on the 7th circuit the whole time rather than being on the Challenger Series. And Kevin Wakesa didn't make it the easiest kick for his teammate, but still will go over for the Kenyans off the turf. So 14 points to 0 now in favour of Kenya. This has been a dream start to the match for them. But can they keep this tempo? We're already seeing 2 players down injured, 1 for each team. Are the stands full? They are not, no. I'm hoping that they'll start filling up as we get closer to the main matches that are taking place, the semi-finals and whatnot. But yeah, it seems a little bit low in terms of attendance at the moment for this one. But Luciano Gonzalez tackled on the halfway line. Now Agustin Fraha goes back across to the right-hand side here. Graziano looking for a gap. Azati, the captain, drags him down for Kenya. Now 45 metres out from the Kenyan line. Argentina, they need a try before halftime if they want any chance. And they've got a great inside ball there. Odongo Okongo wins the foot race, but the offload game is strong. And Germain Schultz will score it between the posts. Argentina now back into the game. Edwin has said show the screen. Dude, sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio shown would take us straight off YouTube, banned for 3 months and possibly sued for copyright infringement. But we are allowed to do the commentary like this. The also coverage of the games, I believe, is being shown on Rugby Pass, so be sure to check that out. Depending, of course, on where you are in the world, will depend on whether you're able to watch it through them. And ouch, Pumas punch back. It's lovely stuff, says Ruth. Germain Schultz scores his 112th try. When you got that sort of experience off the bench, that of course can be game-changing. Now kicking off for Argentina here. And they do go high and deep and nicely taken. Just outside of their 22, but that is going to be the penalty going the way of the Pumas. I'm not sure what Fraha is complaining about. His side won the penalty, and his side is now on hot attack. Cut out pass, our way to a Satsuk, and that'll be the finish for Argentina, and that is another try now. Never trust an injured Puma. He's going to come at you. Cheers, Ruth. But that is now the second try in Cape Town for Matthias Azatsuk. So they have now made their comeback completely. Here, Argentina, it's gone from a one-sided Kenyan performance to now just 2 quick plays in a row. And they have now got every bit of momentum that is in this game. But Asadsuk trying to make it a slightly easier kick for his teammate. And that has worked extremely well. As now the score 14 points to 14. It seems like at the moment we're going to go into the second 7 minutes completely even. Unless, of course, someone can score in the last 20 seconds or so. But yeah, very good kick from Luciano Gonzalez for that one to go over. Pumas found their teeth. Says Ruth. Now Satsuki has made it onto the all-time try scorers list, 121, slowly catching up with Sabato, who is 6 ahead. But now, it's going to be kicked off long by Argentina again. Can the Kenyans find that momentum that they need to get back into this contest? They've got 7 seconds before it is halftime. They will just boot this one into touch. Oh, hang on. Okay, Argentina, that was very poor from the stadium. Now, of course, that was also a bit of a poor decision from Kenya. So the stadium made the noise that said it was half time. So Kenya kicked the ball into touch. Then the referee said, we've still got a couple seconds left. Argentina have the line out. So that is a massive mistake from Kenya, a pretty big blunder from the crowd or like the stadium as well. And it's pretty much set Kenya up for a massive opportunity for Argentina to come back and score a try. And this would give them a great time straight into halftime with the lead here. Luciano Gonzalez goes on the outside. Augustin Fraha for the corner. They'll have to check this one. I hope for the sake of Kenya that isn't a try, because that would be pretty poor. The fact that they played the noise. Of course, Kenya, it's always played to the referee's whistle, but they kicked that ball into touch, and this is going to be a little bit of a heartbreak for them. Yep, that is a try. And Argentina will score right before the end of the first half. So that has cost the Kenyans at least 5 points here. Does Fiji have the longest winning streak, says Katzenel? I know South Africa were really going towards it. I think that lockdown period where there were no New Zealand, Fiji and whatnot. I think South Africa got very close to the record. Might have even been New Zealand who have the current record. Anyway, chance you can sync the score with the commentary, says Sean. Sadly not, because it's just an online scoreboard and because the coverage that I'm watching is through Sky Sport Now. This is as far forward as it lets me go. Sometimes the coverage is ahead in terms of the scoreboard. Other times it's behind. This is one of those times that it seems like it's actually going to be quicker. But a lot of the times it's like 5 minutes behind the scoreboard. So, yeah, it is a tricky one. But just with the coverage the way that it is in New Zealand, I can't get any further live, if that makes sense, and I can't adjust it because it's also a live scoreboard. But yeah, I'm not used to it being so far ahead. Normally it's a mile behind. I'm adjusting my score again, Hamish. 30 points to 22 in favour of the Pumas, and 19 points to 14. But yeah, it's a pretty sad way to go into halftime for Kenya, because at the end of the day, like, they just kicked it out because they heard the siren, but the siren was incorrect. Still another 5 seconds or so remaining in the half at the time, or else Kenya, I believe, would have done one more phase, then booted the ball into touch, and Argentina were even heading off the field as well. They thought it was half-time. And good evening, Hamish. Hope your day's been well, mate, says JD, and stream on DSTV, says Tyrone. And there as well, seeing as I'm in New Zealand, we don't actually have DSTV as an option unless I set myself to South Africa through a VPN, and then from there also bought a DSTV subscription to be able to be more ahead. Good to see Kenya back at top level. Ouch, Kenya, shame, says Ruth. And there as well, so they are currently down by 5. We'll have to wait and see whether or not there is going to be a chance for them to get back into this contest. Now, at the moment, Kenya come in as $13 underdogs in the second half. In fact, make that $15 underdogs. By the way, Kiwi, why did you get copyright strike when you did Crusaders Chiefs final last year? Because it got struck by Sanzar. That's going to be nicely taken out in the air, so the penalty does go the way of Argentina, and this is actually going to be a yellow card now against Kenya. Morning, mate, says Fleshin. My prediction was 14 points to 26, but Argentina is definitely going to concede. Hope the Blitzbox win the competition, says LFG. Well, they have to get past Spain first. I think a lot of sides so far this year have already underestimated the Spanish, and it's cost them. New Zealand, they got beaten by them twice. Nicely taken by Azadsuk, and that, really wasn't a lot of connection, but Kevin Waikesa now is off the field for the next 2 minutes. Argentina, they are inside of their half. Now going to be a nice tackle made by Anthony Omondi. In fact, I don't think his first name is Anthony, now that I think about it. But now going to the side, that's going to be knocked on by Argentina again. Did you show match? I did not know. It just was a strike that they gave because they wanted people to buy a Sky subscription. Stands on 6, Hamish, you're supreme. And how's it, Hamish? Am I mistaken, or is there 12 teams in the quarter, says Roger? So no quarterfinals for this for this Cape Town Sevens, because it's a slightly shortened competition format. You only get 2 group stage matches in groups of 3, and then whoever's at the top of the bunch goes straight to the semi. I think it's, if I'm being honest, a really stupid layout that I have no idea why they've done it this way. maybe for player safety, because there would have been 2 weeks back-to-back that they play sevens, but they've done that for pretty much the history of the seven circuit, so I have no idea why they shortened it. But yeah, it's not great, the format, but it works very well for the sides who are currently in the semis, because all it takes is 4 wins and you're champions. Now, Kenya in position at the moment, and there's going to be the knock-on from Kenya on the ground. The power of Cape Town will lift the Blitzboks to a victory over Spain and hopefully in the finals, says LFG, and Vamos Español. Español watching for Spanish Bulls, says Ruth. And is Spain's union any good? Never seen them play. They are a top side at the moment, and I feel like a lot of people have underestimated them. We saw last year they pulled off a few big wins, including one over Fiji, a couple over New Zealand. I think they beat South Africa last year as well. So, they're crossing off the big teams. And, yeah, it will be interesting to see if they can continue doing that this year, which I believe they already have started in the right direction. Even Kenya, you look at what they've done this year. They've beaten South Africa, Ireland, and not New Zealand, and Australia. Now going to the short side here. Chance for Argentina, and they are over for another try. And that will be Peredon, who manages to score it. That is his first try in Cape Town. Got himself one last week. But that more than likely now takes the wind out of the sails for the Kenyans. They were down a man, and now they're just in that position of it's going to be a big comeback if they can somehow be back in this game. And Argentina making it that little bit more challenging by also getting the kick over. I think Cats means 15-man rugby, says Sean. It's Spain's union. Yeah, so they missed out on the last World Cup because of a technicality of one of their players wasn't eligible, so the whole squad got disqualified, but they had qualified. That's actually how we saw Romania make their way into the last Rugby World Cup, because of that disqualification. 11 in Oxford gives you a reason for liking big bulls, says Affliction. Now Kenya back to the 7 men on the field. They are inside of their own 22 here, though. A lot of pressure being put on by Los Pumas, but they have missed a couple tackles, and that is some great work and a big boot downfield. Kenya chasing hard. I think that's Kevin Waikesa winning the foot race. He is fresh after making his way back out onto the park. Little bit of a slip there, but Kenya getting into the breakdown. Azutsuk gets it away to the side. Adjusting my score, Hamish, 40 points to 25 in favour of the Argentines, and that's going to be the penalty going the way of Kenya. Still 3.5 minutes remaining. And go the Kenya, make Africa proud, says Vincent. And Pumas 40-22. They're just showing the momentum shift. Kenya got the first 2 tries. Then from there, we saw 4 tries back-to-back for Argentina. Can Kenya finish this match like they started and get 1 or 2 more tries under their belt? If they got them both and they converted them both, they would actually take the lead here. So there's still a lot on the line for this Kenyan side. Coming in as 10th ranked, heading into this matchup. The winner of this game will face New Zealand or Great Britain, whoever wins that game. And the loser will face the defeated side from that game as well. But Argentina, they've missed 5 tackles throughout this game. So they haven't been perfect, but they've had some great attacking moments that have got them in the right direction. It is this counter punching at its best, says Ruth. Now back across Kenya, a little bit of a hospital pass behind the man. Santiago Vera fell, just continues to drive Kenya backwards. Now ball is there. Oyo goes across to George Oro. If there's anyone who's going to be able to break through this Argentine defence, it is that man, Kevin Waikesa, sells the dummy. They've lost about 40 metres here for the Kenyans, but they have to continue trying to attack. It's just whether or not Argentina will eventually open up a gap for them to go through. Can they create one here, Kenya? Looking to the short side, trying to find some sort of go forward. And Santiago is in Argentina. I can't get behind the GB boys and girls in this. It just doesn't feel right. Now kicked him behind. Patrick Okongo, I should say, chasing after this one, makes the tackle on Marcos Maneta, who's knocked the ball on. Now a kick pass. There was a knock on from Kenya, but it looks like it's going to be play on just for now. Now going back across to the left-hand side, the knock-on advantage is over, but nice step in there from Amaita. Omondi goes over the top. Bouncing ball was not favourable, but Kenya still trying to go through. A Congo is smashed in that tackle. Now back across. Kenyans have not given up. They've gone with the inside ball here. Going to be any chance of going through. Counter ruck from Argentina, and the penalty goes the way of Los Pumas, and a lot of players have now dropped to a knee. Exhaustion kicking in for these two sides. Oh, okay, and Kenya have just been marched forward 10 metres for, obviously someone said something to the referee. It's been slightly below par, but you're still not allowed to say anything to them, or else they do get angry. That was brutal, says Katzenel. And how many times have we knocked the ball on? A lot. In this game, I think that's about 5 handling errors, if not maybe more. And Pumas are smashing those tackles on Kenya, says Ruth. Looks like a couple changes about to be made. Graziano makes his way back onto the field. And Azutsuk will make his way off. So far, we've seen pretty even overall in terms of the numbers for this match. Kenya, 80% for their tackle completion. Argentina, 79. Well, my score prediction hold out at the moment. It's looking pretty good. Still 70 seconds remaining. And at the moment, sitting pretty good. It's just whether or not, I think Argentina would kick this ball into touch if they get it late. I think Kenya would go for one last try. So that might be what hurts you a little bit. Plus, they've still got another 70 seconds. And Argentina are about to go for the tap and go by the looks of it. Someone might need Nurse on that field. It's a bit of flamenco on the pitch. And Ponku is here with the tongue out emoji there. Welcome in, Ponku. Hope you are doing well. Now getting ready to boot this one downfield. Or are they going to take the tap? Argentina. It looks like they haven't necessarily decided as of yet. It looks like a tap might be happening. I'm not sure what's going on here. I think they were just trying to work out numbers. Kenya needed one more man on the field. They found that. So now it's going to be play on. Okay, they're going to be kicking this one towards the touchline now for Argentina. Tobias Wade with the spiral kick does get it into touch. Flamenco dancer and fishnet, same as Spanish guitar. Says Ruth. We're now ready to throw this one in. 55 seconds remaining on the board. For Argentina, they have already, I would say, secured this win. Not quite enough time for Kenya to be able to bounce back. But there could still be one more try for either of these teams. Going to be thrown in long. Nicely claimed by Los Pumas. Now going off to the left-hand side. That's a nice flat ball. Passes on the outside. Now one more. It's another knock on from Marcos Maneta this time. One of the more unlikely men to knock that ball on. Who is the best defense in the competition, says on the right. I think so far throughout this competition, it would have to almost go, I would say South Africa are right up there for their first two matches, in terms of the fact that they dominated both of them. In terms of maybe, like Fiji haven't gone too bad. They conceded a couple tries up against Great Britain and only just snuck by them though, so I probably would go South Africa at the moment. And we have got there, I hope you're well too, mate. Says Ponku. Yeah, plenty of Sevens action today, so we are always happy on a Sevens day. That's going to be rolled in. Now going out the back door. Going to the left-hand side now. Kenya looking for one last attack to finish out this match. They cannot win, but they can still have one last contest up against either Great Britain or New Zealand, depending on who wins that match. So they want to go into it with form and knowing that they were the last team to score a try up against Argentina. Here comes the big run forward from Salim. Now looking to go through up to 22 metres out. The man's still running. Oh, his ankles are going to give out from underneath him. Slapped dead by Argentina. Now, there was a knock on, but then you aren't allowed to slap that ball out. So that becomes, I believe, a penalty. Wait, so, okay, so pretty much they've said there was a knock on. Then from there, Argentina slapped the ball out, which you are not allowed to do. But because there was no advantage, it doesn't become a penalty to Kenya. Now, normally a penalty does override a knock-on, such as if you had a high tackle or something along those lines. But in this case, it is full time. 26 points to 14. the end of the game. Now, Kenya had a great start to this contest. We have to transfer straight over to Great Britain versus New Zealand. That is kicking off in like 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. So I will see you all for the next one. We are popping over and we will be live in like 1 minute's time. So I will see you all for the next one.